Well, hello there, and welcome back to episode 28 of my Minecraft 1.15 Let's Play. I'm here in the section of the Nether perimeter that I was working on in the last episode, and I have finished it all the way down to bedrock, all the way across. There are no blocks above the bedrock whatsoever, so this section is all set. And then up above, let me turn on the rendering, we've got a Lightmatica template for the next phase of the operation. So Fallen Breath, the person who devised the Nether World Eater, also came up with this machine right here. This is a tunnel bore. So what this will do is it'll drill in sideways, it'll go laterally across the world, and it'll eat up 22 blocks. It'll give me enough clearance for the World Eater in the first place. So otherwise, this would take quite a lot to dig this all out. So I think this is going to be quite a bit faster. Although it did take me quite a while to collect all the materials for it. So if I go into here, and I go into the material list, you can see it took 1.27 shulker boxes full of slime blocks. It took me about a day and a half to collect all of those. And the rest of the resources were pretty heavy on cobblestone. I was getting pretty low on all three of these. So I'm actually out of cobblestone right now. Quite a few blocks of redstone. I have a ton on me. But I've got everything in my inventory right now. The things I don't have are the white glazed terracotta. I have a different color of terracotta. And then the dead fire coral, I have live fire coral. So that will work just fine. So, all right, time to build myself a tunnel bore. This should be fun to watch operate. It's worth adding, by the way, that I had to do some testing in creative to figure out the exact positioning of where I wanted this to go. It needs to go 3 blocks from the lowermost part of the bedrock, and then it will blow up pretty much every block at the actual bedrock level. It also needs to be 1 block from the edge here, just so that it doesn't end up sticking to any blocks, and it needs to be at least 5 blocks. So this cobblestone fence right there needs to be 5 blocks from the wall that it's shooting at to make sure that it doesn't blow itself up. I've got it 6 blocks, so there are 6 blocks in between them. So not at 6 blocks away, it's actually 7 blocks away, just to make sure that nothing, and that it doesn't end up blowing itself up. Very important. So I got the tunnel bore all set up with the exception of the TNT. I was being careful or paranoid, whatever you want to call it, but I have had a few small sections of the machine accidentally fire off on me, and I didn't want any of them accidentally firing TNT as a result. So I'm going to wait on those. It shouldn't take me too long to place all that, but there's one important step before I do that. So I've made a small adjustment to the schematic. So you can see it's actually in 2 sections right here, so that I'm not including this big wall of netherrack back here. So there's this section right here and this section right here, and it gave me the exact, I've set it up so I have the exact clearances. Oh, I definitely won't want, oh, I thought there was another rack there. Okay, so I want to make sure that all the clearances, there's no netherrack that I left that I used as scaffolding or anything like that. No misplaced blocks, no missing blocks or anything like that. So I can use Schematica for that, Lightmatica. And I can go in to configure, and I can go into the schematic verifier. And if I hit start verification, we see we got some terracotta that's in the wrong state. That just means it's facing the wrong direction. Not super worried about that at all. We got some extra blocks. My shulker boxes aren't going to hurt anything, so I can ignore all those. And yeah, it looks like everything's all right. We're just missing TNT. All right, I'm super bad. I could have sworn I made some mistakes. I'm like, I went back and fixed things that I saw, so somehow I managed to fix everything. So yeah, all I gotta do, I'm super paranoid about this. Because, man, it should work. I mean, we've got the schematic all verified. I've tested this. Everything should work. It's just really terrifying because this took me a long time to build. And if these things go wrong, it's usually catastrophic. All right, let me put in the TNT and then we'll get to what's hopefully the fun part. So I found out the hard way that if I just place the TNT right here, it lights immediately and does this. And I was actually standing right there and it blew me up. So I'm going to have to fix that damage. But I wanted to go into creative first and see what it takes. Maybe if I do this and then place the rail. Nope, that's not going to work. So I'm going to have to go through and try a few things and figure out what it takes to not fire off this TNT when I place it. It's actually not sure how I'm going to do that. All right, so I don't know if this is the correct way to do it, but it seems to work. So if I remove these three slime blocks right here, put them up against this piston here instead, and then place the rail and the cart, we can bud this TNT without it actually getting a blocked update. So if I power this piston, and then I can't actually depower the piston because it'll pull everything back. So instead, what I got to do is do the same thing. Block, cart, and then power the piston, and then remove the piston. Or I could replace it with a regular piston, and then either way, I got to remove the piston and then replace it once I'm done. And that seems to work fairly well. And I also have to be very careful if I accidentally knock one of these carts off. I can't just put the cart back because bad things happen. So another thing to be aware of. All right, so I got all the TNT in place now, so everything should be good there. So it's time to do one last verify here. So let's do the, it looks like I got 2 netherrack and 1 slime block that I unlocked out. So I think the netherrack is down, yep, so it's highlighted way down there. That's where I bridged over to get on it in the first place, so I need to knock those blocks out. And somewhere down here, we got a slime block that we knocked out. Let's make sure not to, there we go. So, slime block. Oh, don't want to put a block in front of that observer, that would be bad. And there we go. So that's what it looks like when you actually miss a block, or, you know, so that's kind of nice to know. And, yep. And these are the 2 netherrack blocks right here that I placed to get up there. So yeah, everything should be good now. Let me do one last check. Nope, everything's good. All right, so I'm not sure how I'm going to get up on this thing. Somewhere around here there is a note block. Should be, I think it's over here. Yeah, it should be right there. So this note block right here is the trigger, so I should be able to, man, I'm still terrified by this. Should be able to sit in there and then hit the note block and maybe turn the schematic off. Looks like everything's working well. The downside is, you know, this is the Nether. I've got to get out and clean up all that lava that pops up. It looks like there might just be the one, but it's going to be a little bit of a slow process to do all this, but this should still help quite a bit. I'm not sure what's happened here, but these last few machines appear to have blown themselves up. Since I'm fairly early in the process, I think it's probably a good idea to just fix these and hope that the problem doesn't reoccur. Alright, I've got everything fixed up. My guess is that one of the lower explosions actually blew up one of the blocks of the flying machine, and once you take out even just a slime block, basically there's just a chain reaction where everything just blows itself up. So I've cleared all the way down to the base here, and hopefully we won't have that problem again. Alright, let's give it another go, and I'll keep a close eye on it for the first few runs. despite that short time lapse, this is actually a fairly time consuming process. I did have to clear out the lava wherever it popped up after every few runs. So this took me a little over a day to actually run the machine. But we finally did manage to break through to the other side. So here's the line that I dug out right here. It's right on a chunk border. So we've cleared out 288 blocks. It's pretty impressive to see. It just keeps going on and on for quite a while before we reach the other end. That's how long I ran this machine. And then there's the pit that I dug in the last episode. So there is a bit more cleanup that needs to be done. I'm going to run the machine a few more times to give myself a little bit of an extra clearance so that I can set up some flying machines to dig out the rest of this. And then I also need to clear out all these little extra blocks. So, you know, it's TNT. It's not 100% reliable. So it's not a clean 22 blocks. It does leave these little blocks here from time to time. And there's probably some nether quartz out around here as well that I might as well grab up when I'm doing that. Also up here at the nether roof, I had to do the same thing. You see we get these blocks like that would pop up from time to time. I actually had to clear them as I go, otherwise I'd have to pillar up. So it was much easier to every few runs to just kind of run across this line here and check for any of them. And I actually set up a Lightmatica template that's just 1 block by 288 by 288. That's nothing but air, and that would make these blocks actually glow because otherwise they're pretty hard to spot. So I have to make sure there's still a few more that are within the range. So when I run this machine a few more times, I'll be able to reach those ones over there. So I need to make sure that all of these are gone as well, because when I run the World Eater, if it's up this close and it touches any of those blocks, they might stick to it and cause it to stop running, and that would be bad. So I got to make sure that all of these go as well. So just like the other side way down there, I've got to clear out 15 blocks on this side all the way down to bedrock. And for that side, I used rows of dispensers all the way down with TNT in them. And it took me quite a bit to set all that up and activate them a whole bunch of times and clear out all the lava. And I decided that it'd probably be quite a bit faster if I came up with a flying machine solution. So that's what I've come up with right here. And it's not even a very complicated flying machine. So this is based on Ilmango's World Eater. I had to make some adjustments because that one takes off whenever it's pushed down, so I had to set up my own takeoff and return stations and move things around a little bit. But this should work pretty well. Now, I don't think there's technically enough clearance here that these might actually blow themselves up some point in the 288 blocks. I could clear out more blocks down here. But I think it'd actually be faster to just rebuild any flying. I mean, these aren't complicated. So any flying machines that blow up, it should probably only happen once or twice and only on the first row. Because once I've got the first row cleared out, there'll be plenty of clearance and I won't have to worry about it anymore. So yeah, if these things blow up, which is actually pretty likely, I found in creative that, you know, every once in a while they'll blow themselves up just because they shoot TNT so often. I'm just going to replace them and do it again, and hopefully that should work pretty well. And then I'm also going to have to once again remove all the lava. It's probably going to blow up quite a bit of the ground before I actually get a chance to remove the lava. So probably what I'm going to try and do is drink fire resistance potions and fly down with buckets, and we'll see how that works. So yeah, let's give this thing a launch and hopefully everything goes well. That actually worked quite a bit better than I expected it to, and it blew up quite a bit. So let's clear out all this lava, and then I'll give it another run. It'll probably only take a few runs to get me down to the lava level. So let's see how this works. I'm not sure how this is going to work exactly. Let's see if we can pick up buckets, kinda. There's probably going to be a bit of swimming involved. Like if I end up low on this one, and I could swim up. And yeah, this is going to take a little bit of time, but I'm pretty sure I can get through all of this. I've got a few extra potions in my inventory, so let's can I get it? Nope. It's a little bit of a mini game here. Can you catch a lava? The answer for me is usually no. Alright, so I've got everything cleared all the way down to the lava oceans down there, and this machine actually ended up leaving quite a few floating blocks laying around, and I didn't really want to have to like pillow over and crack them all, so instead I just set up 2 more flying machines. This is the closest that they can be spaced together, and that took care of most of them. There were still a few extra flying blocks, but I just let this run for an hour because TNT's random. It did eventually end up hitting them. I just did my video editing while I was waiting, and it looks like we've got all the blocks all the way across. A few lava spikes here and there that I need to deal with still, not a big deal. The next step for this side at least is to set up the flying machines that I used in the last episode to get rid of the lava oceans, and then after that I'm going to have to dig down to the bedrock. Before I do that though, I've set another one of these bomber flying machines up across one of the edges, because as I said, the design involves like this wall of anvils that I am not interested in building. So I'm going to pre-blow up the sides along this edge, and the other edge I'm going to have to do that one as well to try and make sure that no lava flows out from those sides by just kind of like exposing any lava ahead of time, and hopefully that does the trick. So let me run this one. Oops, looks like it stuck to a few blocks here, not a big deal. So I should be able to restart it just by putting a block above that observer right there. So if I just place a block here, should start it going again. And then it'll turn around and go the other way. All right. Ooh, that's not good. Well, that's not great. All right, so I finished off the edge here. I've actually finished off both edges, so that all that's left to do is the lava lakes down below and then digging down to bedrock. So here's the edge, the side that I've already done, and then if we come over here, we've got the other edge that I just did as well. So same basic concept. I ran a bomber all the way across, so there's no blocks, no lava, anything like that. So we shouldn't have to worry about any explosions breaking through lava into the other side. Oof. And then if we come around here, we've got the new, this is the side that I just did. So yeah, I've got to remove all the lava, dig down to bedrock. I'm going to do that either between episodes or at the beginning of the next episode. It's actually quite a bit of work still to do there, so I'll probably do a split of both. But I've run out of time for this episode. I did have a lot of fun building all these machines. I think it was pretty cool to work with all that. So I hope you enjoyed it as well. So thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.